That mass murder could have been averted if students had just been allowed to carry their guns onto campus. The massacre took some time. One student with a gun might have stopped the shooter before he killed 30 people, but students weren't allowed to bring their guns. After the massacre, the University of Kentucky student, David Burnett, formed a group, Students for Concealed Carry. David, more guns allowing students to have a gun would have saved students?
It introduced the possibility of self-defense where before none existed. Remember, we're not talking about just allowing college students to carry on to campus. We're talking about the fact that they already carry in the state. We're not going to change who carries. We're going to change where they can carry.
Well, let's hear from the other side. Here's a public service announcement from the Brady campaign.
My name is Colin Goddard. I'm 23. Went to Virginia Tech in 2003. After I was shot, he left our room and walked down the hallway, and then the bangs just got much louder again. You could tell he was back in our room. This time he more methodically came down each of the rows and was still firing. At one point he was standing at my feet, and that's when I was shot a second time in my left hip. The Brady campaign has the mission to enact sensible gun laws to help protect Americans.
And Colin Goddard joins us now. So you were shot 4 times, and you came to the opposite conclusion. If one of your friends had had a gun, you don't think people would have been saved?
I mean, there was a girl in my class who was killed in her chair. So if this person was the one with the gun who was still in the chair who was killed, then Cho would have had 3 guns. You know, you could what if this situation 1,000 times. You know, it doesn't get you anywhere.
David?
I would point you to 2 colleges in Colorado. One of them banned guns in 2003. The other one decided they would allow guns. On the campus that allowed guns, the crime dropped like a rock. And on the campus that banned guns, the crime went up. I think it's very likely that when somebody is evaluating a target, whether or not somebody can fight back, whether or not
Colin, what
there's a threat,
about that? I mean, it makes sense. If I'm the bad guy, I'm less likely to hurt someone who I think might have a gun.
I mean, I think in Virginia Tech's case, Cho was ready to kill as many people as he wanted to, as he could before he took his own life.
Sure.
So there was no, you know, you couldn't defer him in that sense.
But somebody might have shot him.
Somebody might have been shot. You know, when the police come into a situation like that, how are they going to determine who is the good guy and who's the bad guy? You totally rewrite the book on a police response to an active shooter, because it's no longer one student alone in a building, it's one student among many who has guns. You ask law enforcement, you ask student administration, you ask faculty, they don't want this across the nation. It's a resounding no.
Well, it actually kind of differs. The college in Colorado, there's not very many colleges that allow them. The College of Colorado, the sheriff there is a big fan of it. And he went to the college and he said, no, do not ban this. This works. Nobody is irresponsible. Everything is good.
All right, but I was irresponsible in college. Lots of kids are. There's lots of people getting stoned. You want them to have guns?
Well, we're not arguing about who can carry, because in most states you've got a procedure you have to go through. You have to go through a background check to make sure there's no felonies, drug abuse, alcohol, anything like that. You've got to go through fingerprinting. You've got to go through educational classes in most states. You also have to be, as you mentioned, at least 21 in most states before you can carry. Are we really talking about the party-hardy, irresponsible kids? At the age of 21, you've got it out of your system. Well, but it's the fact that they already carry. The question is, what's so different about a college campus that we can suspend the need to self-defense on that campus? Colleges in Colorado, now 15 of them, allow concealed carry. We don't see irresponsible behavior, no accidental shootings, no protests.
Colin, I'll give you the last word.
Well, look, like I said, this is something to deal with the situation at the last possible second. Let's look at the facts of Virginia Tech. We could have prevented Cho from purchasing the guns the way he did. He did it legally. He passed the check because his medical record wasn't in the system. That's a problem. Fortunately, Virginia changed that, and they've updated a lot more of their records, but this is not something that's been done nationally, and it needs to be done. All the records need to be